Hello everyone, it's Sarah from Crafty Creatures. Today we're going to be making the pumpkin patch painting from your Keep 'em Busy box. This is what it's going to look like in the end. It's going to be really fun. So what you're going to need is your canvas panel, a pencil, your paints, and some paintbrushes, and of course something to wash our brushes in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the pencil and we're going to draw really light. I'm going to draw a bit darker so you guys can see it. I'm going to start by making a mostly straight line across our canvas, just a little bit below halfway. And we're going to draw 3 pumpkins. You know, they can overlap a bit, they can be different sizes, slightly different shapes. We want them to look very natural, so making them all look a little different is going to help that. We're also going to add in a couple stems at the top. And then in the background, we're just going to make a very light line, kind of swoopy and wavy, because we're going to put some grass behind there. Now we can take an eraser and erase any of our pencil lines that kind of go through our pumpkins. Good to go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint in our sky with some blue. You can make it light blue, you can make it dark blue. I was going to use straight blue, I think it looks really pretty. You're going to make the edge where it meets the grass very shaggy and fuzzy. Try to put your paint on as smooth as you can. You don't want really big globs of paint sitting around. That'll take a lot longer to dry and it'll look kind of patchy when it's done. Next we're going to fill in this grass. So we're going to take some yellow and a bit of white and mix it together to make a really light yellowy color. Make sure to wash your brush really good, otherwise it might turn green on you. Now don't worry if you get a little bit of blue into your grass. Just kind of feather it out like I'm doing here, and that'll make it look more like it's got layers and layers of grass going there. So our next step is going to be to fill in our pumpkins. Now we want to use different shades of orange so that our pumpkins look unique. So you can make a lighter shade by mixing in some orange and yellow. You can make it darker by adding in some red. You can make it really pale by adding in some white. So lots of options. So next we're going to paint in the ground. We're going to use brown paint and a big brush. We're just going to fill it in around our pumpkins. If you go over your pencil line like I did, that's okay. Just kind of correct it the best you can. So I'm just going to make my middle pumpkin here just a little bit shorter so I can even that out. Now our last step is going to be to take a bit of brown and add in some white, a little touch of orange. Going to make a very light brown color for our stems. I would say to use your small brush for the stems. Just gives yourself a little bit more control. So the next step I'm going to show you is a bonus step. This is one you can do if you want to try out something a little bit trickier. We're going to add some lines to our pumpkins in a darker shade to make our pumpkins look more 3D and more real. So real pumpkins have all these nice little grooves that go through them. So on my middle pumpkin here, since I did a much lighter yellow orange, I'm just making these lines with plain orange. I have a couple going around. Then for a little bit of fun, I'm going to clean my brush and I'm going to do these little short brush strokes going off my line here. It's called feathering. This will make them blend in a little bit, makes them look a little cool. For my darker pumpkins, I'm going to use just straight red, or I could mix a bit of red and a bit of orange to make a color that's kind of in between the two. This one I'm just going to leave the lines plain. This one I'm going to make the lines a little bit wobbly like some pumpkins are. And I think I'll leave those lines like they are. Now another little bonus thing you can do is you can let your painting dry a little bit and you can take some green paint and a little paintbrush and just make some fun squiggly lines coming out of your pumpkins, out of the stems, or coming up across the ground. Pumpkins grow in these long, curly, swirly vines. This kind of shows that our pumpkins are in a field with some other pumpkins as well. Yeah, I'm just going to add a few of those. And it just has to dry and it's all finished. Good job, everybody. See you next time with a new painting and a new craft. Bye-bye.